Hey guys, RanterInShades here, exercise my First Amendment rights vlog style. Now, I've been to a lot of concerts since 2008, starting with Iron Maiden back in 2008. Since then, going to concerts has become one of my favorite pastimes, something I just love doing every year, or even every season. I've developed 6 tips for how I choose my concerts as well as how I behave at them that I would like to share with you today. Also, I'm fully prepared to see mass amounts of jealousy in the comments. I've got a lot of examples of concerts that I'm going to be listing throughout this video. So I will say right now, you're just jealous of all the concerts I've been to! We'll start with tips for choosing a concert with tip number 1. Be familiar with the band. 3 to 4 times a year, I'll be searching for concerts in the Boston or New York area, depending on where I am at the moment. I get a lot of results when I do my searches. I'll write down all the bands and artists I'm familiar with at all, and write down the date, time, and location of the show. When I finish with the searches, it comes time to narrow the list down. What do I narrow it down based on, you ask? How familiar I am with the band and their catalog. Most of the bands that I list down are bands that I do like, but may not be as familiar with their catalog as other bands come into town. For example, say a band like Alien Ant Farm was coming around. Do I like them? Yes. Why would I put down money to go see a band in concert if I didn't like them? But am I familiar with Alien Ant Farm's catalog at large? Not really. The most I really know from them are their hits, like their cover of Michael Jackson's Smooth Criminal, which for the record is probably the best MJ cover ever. It would be much different with a band like Autograph. The only song I know of theirs is their 1984 hit Turn Up the Radio. If I were going to see Autograph, I would be bored as hell waiting for them to play Turn Up the Radio, while everyone else around me is singing along to the other songs they play. It will be a waste of my time. So never see a band if you only know one of their songs. So if you want to see a band, make sure you know much of their catalog. Also, don't get too butt-mad if they don't play mostly older hits. They are, after all, touring in support of a new album, at least most of the time, and they do get tired of playing the same songs easily. When I saw Jackson Browne last 4th of July, he didn't even play Somebody's Baby. Usually they save the hits for later in their set, so be patient. Usually the band will walk off stage towards the end, like, see you later. Fear not, because they're not done yet. They'll come back on stage for an encore performance of a couple of their best-known hits. There are many examples of this, because almost everyone I've seen has done this. The example I will use is when I saw Van Halen back in March of 2012. They walked off stage and came back on a couple minutes later to play Jump. Tip 2. Note any lineup changes. My mom once texted me a couple years ago about Guns N' Roses coming to Boston. I had to calmly say no not because I don't like Guns N' Roses, but because of their current lineup. Like I said in the Rocklahoma video, Axl Rose is the only original member in there. Slash is playing solo, and I have no idea what the rest of the original GNR is up to these days. I would much rather see Slash solo than go to a current GNR show any day, and I would never see Guns N' Roses unless Slash was at least back in the band. If he and Axl patched up their differences, maybe also got Duff, Izzy, and maybe Matt Sorum back, like on the Use Your Illusion albums. Tip 3. Make sure the show is at a convenient time. If you are unable to attend the show, don't bother with it. At college, I can't go to any shows on Tuesday nights on account of I have jazz band at the same time. So even if someone I would love to see, like Yngwie Malmsteen, was playing, I would have to turn it down. This did actually happen, and I was pissed! I also couldn't go to last year's Mayhem Fest, because I was out in Costa Rica with my family and cousins. They had Slayer, Slipknot, Anthrax, and Motorhead all playing, and you could tell I was pretty bummed. If you have any other commitments beforehand in place, don't cancel for a concert. They'll be back before you know it. The next tips are for when you are finally at the concert. Tip 4. Always eat before the show or in between sets. Most of the concerts I've been to usually start between 7:30 and 8. I don't like to eat dinner too early beforehand, so I usually grab something to eat right when I get through security. That's usually my dinner hour anyway. If you're still hungry, wait for the opener to finish and chow down after. Speaking of the opening act, there's no shame in not being familiar with the opener. Not a lot of the other people there are very familiar with them either. But hey, it gives you another band to check out if you like what you see. Some openers that I've seen that I ended up checking out and really enjoying after my experience seeing them would be Lauren Harris when I saw her open for Iron Maiden and Streetlight Circus when I saw them open for Y&T. Getting back to eating, one other thing I should mention about your concert dining: get 2 drinks. Chances are you'll have screamed your balls off by the time the show's over. You'll be really fucking thirsty. However, the vendors will all be closed by then. The reason for that is to keep people from buying any more alcohol before they drive home.
What the fuck?
If you're like me and you don't drink alcohol, it really helps to have a second drink on you to quench your thirst before you head home. Tip 5. Always get a shirt. I love band shirts. I'm wearing one in almost all my videos. Most of the shirts I own, I've gotten at a concert, like the shirt I'm wearing right now, for example. I got this shirt when I saw Def Leppard at the end of last summer. They were touring for the 25th anniversary of Hysteria and the 20th anniversary of Adrenalize. And Poison was also there. Just saying. I always make a point to get a shirt at a concert to add to my massive shirt collection. I may not wear them all, like this shirt I got when I saw Pat Benatar, for example. When you show your shirt collection to someone, it has a story to tell about your experience seeing them live. If you're at a festival where there are many band shirts being sold, I would understand if you don't want to spend too much money on shirts. For example, when I went to Mayhem Fest earlier this week, the only shirt I got there was Mastodon. I already had a Five Finger Death Punch shirt. I didn't really want one of Amon Amarth, and I just didn't bother getting a Rob Zombie one. Mastodon was the only band I cared for the most that I didn't already have a shirt of. Tip 6. Always stand when someone is playing. If you're tired or are crippled, that's understandable, but everyone else is going to be standing up. If you sit down, your view will be blocked, and you probably won't be able to hear much with everybody screaming and singing along above your head like that. People like to be up to jump, dance, or even mosh. There's no reason, other than those 2 exceptions I mentioned earlier, to sit down. You should only sit down in between acts. Nothing's going to be going on, so there's no reason to stand up when there is no one playing. You have plenty of time to rest your legs before the next act. Typically the main event, unless you're at a festival, comes on. If you're at a floor show, like at the House of Blues for example, there is nowhere to sit down. Everyone's standing because there are no seats. So be prepared to stand for hours if you're going to a floor show. This was the worst part of when I went to the Metal Alliance tour last spring, which featured Anthrax, Exodus, Municipal Waste, Shadows Fall, and Holy Grail. That's fucking hours worth of standing. I was so fucking tired after. This concludes all my little tips for picking and attending concerts, coming from a very avid concert goer. There are probably some tips I probably left out, these little logistics, but you can always keep them in the back of your little mind. Hope you enjoyed this little video. Take care and have a nice day. I'm Shades, and I'll see you next time.